Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. Sorry to jump on here a little bit later. I had some things that came up with my little ones. It's the weekend, which I'm super excited about for them, quote unquote. Today is their last day of school. Good morning, Tammy. Good morning, guys. I'm so happy to be here. And I'm going to talk a little bit about it's so crazy. I had some stuff that happened to me yesterday that I'll talk about with that happened with Ingrid, and it was great. It was beautiful. It was a very beautiful day yesterday. Thank you to everyone that sent me all those beautiful messages. Like, I totally appreciate it so much. It was so sweet of you. Good morning, Melody. Good morning, Sarah. Good morning, guys. Good morning, Sabrina. All right, guys. So I have my full moon that is now up. It's a super strawberry, beautiful full moon, super moon that is coming this Tuesday. So if you want to be joining me for the meditation, I will be doing that as well. And I just posted on Patreon, Chiron in the 9th house and 10th house. And then I'm also going to be posting in there later the prayer and everything. So if you haven't received that, it's because it's still downloading. So it's still being put onto Patreon as well, which I'm super excited about. But if you guys want to join for the full moon, it's now, the link is in my bio that you can join, which I'm so excited. How is everybody? Let me see here. All right. So today's energy, a lot of us hate when the moon goes into Scorpio, because Scorpio energy is about a lot of transformation, a lot of rebirth. And so some of you that have stuff that is in Aries, that is especially opposite of Libra, the moon is still in Libra, but coming later today around noon my time, I'm Pacific Standard Time, so the East Coast would be around 3. Around that time, be very careful, because the moon is going to be opposing Eris, which is the goddess of discord, and then it's going to be making this square over to Pluto. So there's a lot of like this discord energy that we can be feeling. Okay, so be kind of careful of that. Good morning, guys. Good morning. Oh my gosh, I didn't see everyone popping on. All right. And what else is happening today? The Scorpio, then the moon will be voiding off course and going into Scorpio about 4 p.m. my time. And so what that means is there's going to be tension throughout the beginning of most of the day. So be kind of careful with this tension energy about, I would say, the last part of the day. Just be very careful, because there could be a lot of intense energies, especially because Mars is in Aries, which is bringing up a lot of this intense energy. And to say the least, I've been feeling this energy very intensely. I can be like, I don't like Mars in Aries, okay? Like, I've been feeling a lot of this intense, passionate desire to fight energy, especially because I used to fight sex trafficking. I shouldn't even say used to. I actually should just say I still do, okay? And so it's just been giving a lot of burning desire. And so yesterday I wanted to talk to you guys about was I had a call with, well, I shouldn't say that, a voice notes from all you guys. It was so beautiful, so amazing. Thank you so much for all the amazing messages. And Ingrid called me, and one of my passions is to spread awareness. But one of my other passions is one of the things that drives me nuts, and I feel like God put me here on the planet for a reason, is when people tell me, Missy, as long as there's sex, there's always going to be sex trafficking. As long as there's sex, there's always going to be the way that people misuse it. Which, yes, I do believe that, but it's with the awareness that we have that we're able to change the trajectory of the planet and what is happening, okay? And I say this because if you see a bunch of dead starfish, are you going to be like, you know what, I'm not going to save any starfish, right? No, saving one is good enough, all right? Saving one is good enough. And I'll tell you guys, when I used to work in the sex trafficking industry, they passed a bill at SB, what is it? I think it's 1322 is the exact one, but it basically legalized underage sex trafficking, because what was happening is they had a rap sheet showing all the trafficking that happened to them when they were under a young age. So no, they weren't getting jobs, which is BS, total BS, because any judge could have totally null and voided that. And so the thing with that is they put everybody that got caught in the system back into or juvenile hall. They got put in juvenile hall or back into the CPS system, which the CPS system is exactly where the kids came from. And so when I was fighting sex trafficking, what I really thought of is we got to change the heart of the man. And the only way this is going to happen is that this corruption will stop is to change the heart of the man, which is the buyer, okay? And so I was praying to God one night, as it's like 33 people on here. I was praying to God one night, and God gave me this idea. And because what's happening, you guys, with the sex trafficking industry, or any industry, reality, spiritual industry, wherever they're manipulating sex in some way, is the heart of the man isn't right. The heart of the man doesn't want to leave their marriage, leave their relationship, leave their company, because they rather stay in a business where they are having this compliant issue. And so basically what I mean by that is they want to like go buy a girl, drive home to the house where they're not happy with their wife, they're not happy with their kids, they're not happy with their circumstance, they drive to the job that they're not happy with, and so they don't want to face anything. And this is all about the alignment that we're really seeing across the planet when it comes to the vaccinations, when it comes to COVID, when it comes to like all of this stuff. We're seeing it across the board where people just aren't in alignment. And so in order for us to get in alignment, it's like we have to understand, where are we out of alignment? Where are we being stuck, that we're staying stuck and we're not really feeling that energy of how to push through, okay? So when I was talking to Ingrid, she had this amazing thing that she said when she was younger, because we have a Mexican family. If you guys don't know, Mexican families are very, very big, right? My mom had like 12 brothers and sisters, and so they're very, very big. Thanks, guys. Hi, guys. Sorry, I'm waving at everyone. They're very, very big. And so what happens is we have these huge families that, and I don't know if you guys know this, but I think this is why God's giving me a lot of passion about it, but sex trafficking happens the most in the summer. This is when kids get molested and raped, is in the summer. This is when it really, really picks up. It really happens, is in the summer. And so, and it doesn't happen like you guys think it does. It's not like, oh, you know, Johnny was over here and he got picked up and taken away. Like, that is not sex trafficking. Sex trafficking is when you have this happened a lot. I've heard this a lot, is when you're not paying attention and you have a child playing with an older son or daughter or nephew or uncle or whatever, but it's happening in your own home. It's happening in your own home. And I see this across the board. It's like the mom and dad aren't paying attention. There's a party going on. The kids are in the back. They have no clue what they're doing. And this is where the rape, this is where the molestation happens. This is where things start happening that right before, like right under your eyes. And people always think, oh, well, you know, kids play doctor or whatever. I'm telling you what, it is not okay, all right? I was molested. I was raped at a very young age. I don't know what happened to me. What I do know is I was very sexually active at 3, 4, and 5, where I was actually trying to have sex with girls at a very young age. I was doing things I shouldn't be doing. I was making out with girls. I was trying to have sex with them. 3, 4 years old, you guys, okay? And on top of that, it's like my family knew about it because some of them were my cousins. They were my girl cousins. And so the reason why I feel like God's giving me a lot of this passion, especially during the summer, is because I know that during the summer, this is like when kids get bored. They get bored on the internet. They get bored at home. And this is when they start meeting people that introduce them into sex trafficking. They meet people online. And I really want you guys to understand this. Sex trafficking doesn't happen within one day of meeting somebody. Sex trafficking happens within 6 months to 3 months, okay? I'll give you an example. It's called a grooming process. So it's a grooming process. So the grooming process is, hey, nice to meet you. Let's hang out. Playing video games with somebody. Hey, nice to meet you. How are you doing today? How's your family? How's your son? How is everything? And so it's a slowly grooming process. And so all summer, kids meet other kids, and it's a slowly grooming process. They slowly start to talk to them about their family. They slowly pull them away from their family. They're like, oh, your dad is such a dick. Like, I can't believe he didn't let you do that. Like, what? And they slowly groom you to feel out your family, feel out your life. And then what they do is after the grooming process, say, hey, you know what? Why don't you come hang out with me? I have a friend, he's like 20 years old, and he can totally take care of us, okay? And so what happens is they go to that kid's house, they pick up that kid, And because the grooming process was so slow, they began to make a very good contact of building a friendship with this woman or this little boy. And so they're building this friendship and they're building it up. And so what happens is they build it up, they go hang out. They drop the kid back off at the house, so they're still building the self-confidence. They're building the confidence in the child. They're buying them things, giving them things, taking them places they've never been. And so the parents at the same time don't even think the kid's bad, okay? They don't even think the kid's bad. And so they're slowly grooming them into this process. And this could last a long time. And so by maybe say 20 days of meeting or whatever, right? So the guy's like, hey, ask your parents if we can go on vacation, if you can go on vacation with me, or ask your parents if you can come hang out, right? So it slowly starts to happen. The mom and dad get mad at the child. It's like, no, you can't go do that. The child runs away. The child runs away because their parents aren't letting them do what they want to do. They have been totally coerced into not into sex trafficking, coerced into this relationship that they've created a bond. Now, if the little girl is having sex with this older man, the oxytocin level in her brain is growing because of the way the woman's brain works is that when she creates a baby, when she delivers a baby, the oxytocin level creates a bond with that child. Because that bond is being met, it creates that bond that they'll never let go. So the pimps know this. And so what happens is because that bond has been created, that bond has been met, they sleep with the child because they know the more that they sleep with the child, the more that their oxytocin levels are being built, the more they're creating that bond, the more they're not going to leave, and the more that they're going to come back, okay? And because of this child will never leave. And so now they've created this bond, this chemical bond that the child doesn't even know they've made. And I want to tell you guys this because in the spiritual community, it is happening as well. If a woman has sex with another man, they have released oxytocin levels to that man that has now created a bond. The thing is that gentlemen don't understand the oxytocin levels that women create when we have sex. That is why our area is very, very private. Even if it's a chemical that is being released and they're being released and it's not even entering the body. It is the same chemical reaction that is happening. Okay? And so what happens is these little girls will run away with these guys. And if you guys want to look her up, she's in Washington. Her name is Rebecca Bender. She's amazing. And this happened to her. So what happened to her was she was taken to Vegas and she, her pimp that she was living with, they got a hotel room. They had a baby together. She was having this amazing life. And then what happened to Rebecca Bender is she hated on her parents because the parents didn't want her to move to Vegas. And so because of that, when they got in Vegas, they pulled up and he said, okay, now you're going to go into that room. And they pulled up to this place, this other, it was a building, she said. And they pulled up and he said, you're going to go in that place. You're already on the billboard, you're already on the wall, and you're going to sell yourself because we need the money to pay for our apartment now. And so you need to help out, you need to pull through. So you need to walk through that door, your name is already on a billboard, and you're already going to sell your body, okay? So he had a gun to her head, and she couldn't get out. She couldn't get out, she didn't have a cell phone, she didn't know where she was, she didn't even know how to even run away. So her mind was going crazy in this situation because she created a trauma bond with this guy that she could no longer get out of, okay? So then she walks into this building. She's being sold into sex. She's been sold in the streets of Las Vegas. If she doesn't bring the money back, her pimp, quote unquote, her boyfriend, will kill her, kill the baby if she doesn't bring the money back. Now, a lot of pimps know that when mothers have babies that are on the street, it creates an oxytocin level that creates this bond with the child so that they will not leave their child alone, and so they will have to bring back the money. Okay? And so what happens is a lot of pimps will keep the children in the hotel room while the women are on the street selling themselves for sex, because it's a way that it creates them to come back to the hotel room in order to bring their money. And if they don't bring the money back, then they will kill the kids, okay? And the moms know this. And so when I'm on the street or was on the street fighting sex trafficking, I knew that they had kids. And I would specifically ask them, hey, how old are your kids? What are your kids doing? And blah, blah, blah. They never wanted to ask me because a lot of times the madam, which is the female pimp, that was the main pimp watching over the pimp, because there's the pimp, okay, so there's the pimp, there's the madam, which the madam is considered the bottom bitch, and she's the one that watches all the other prostitutes that are on the street. So she's the eyes of the street. So she looks like she's part of the street as well. But she's considered the madam, okay? And then there's these bikers that go up and down the blade. They go up and down the blade watching everybody walk. And so you have all these eyes on the street that are watching this, okay? And on top of it, you also have the cops that are in cahoots as well with this happening. And so not only do you have the bikers, the madams, and the cops that are all watching this go down, you're also now realizing this girl's situation. You have the kids that she has at the hotel room, and she's all alone on the street, and she doesn't know how to get out. This is all they know. And I'm not saying this is not just one race, you guys. This is multiple races. Multiple races. In reality, it's sad to say this, but when you're white, you are sold for more money, okay? You are sold for more money. So guess what? They are looking for kids in the higher communities that parents aren't talking to them. And when I was talking to Ingrid yesterday, this is what brought tears to my eyes. I was talking to Ingrid, and it just made me start crying, because she was telling me how her dad was molested as a child, and so he helped her to say, hey, no man is allowed to touch you here. Like, if he tries to bring this out, he's not allowed to do that, right? And it was with his, I think it was with her mom and her dad, and they were in the shower and they did this. And it just made me start crying, because I feel like if more parents talk to their kids about this, then there could be a way, but there's not. And the thing is, there's this way sex trafficking looks, but it's not. It's a grooming process that happens within 6 months to a year. It takes a while, and it starts in the summer, where they start building a relationship online, okay? Whether through Instagram, Snapchat, all those gaming apps that they have, all those games where they're able to talk to people all around the world. That's when it starts. That's when it starts. And so I'm telling you, if you have kids, no, that's when it starts. It doesn't look like the movies where they throw someone in the trunk and they take them away. Yes, that does happen, but it is 1%. The other, like 70%, is actually online. The 30% is actually runaway kids running away from their foster families as well. So all of this is happening. And so the way the world looks in regards to sex trafficking is not real, okay? It is not real at all. And so the reason why I'm talking about this is because yesterday I was crying about it. I had so much passion about it, and I was upset. I had that fire again inside of me of like, I have to do something. And when I was doing all of this, the one thing I thought the most is the heart of the man has to change. And the only way the heart of the man has to change is by recognizing their weak point. Their weak point is their money, is their ego, and the way they look in the community. That is their weak point. And so what I created it's called an undercover operation. And so what it is, it's a sting operation. And it's a sting operation for the Johns, because if there is not a buyer, there won't be girls being sold for sex. Yes, it will still happen, but there will be less people sold for sex because there is not a buyer. If there's a buyer, this will always persist and it will always go on, okay? And so what I came up with was an undercover operation. And the undercover operation is where you do an undercover sting. And when you do the undercover sting is you take the buyers that are buying the girls, and now you give them a fine of $20,000. $20,000. Not only that, you take away their license, because that's how they got there, their driver's license. And they don't get their driver's license back until they go through the system, which is a 2-week John school. It's a 2-week John school. This is a buyer school where they have to learn exactly what the girl goes through before they meet them at that point of being bought. And then on top of that, all that money will go back to a housing program to help victims of sex trafficking. And the other part of that money is also going to go back to the John School. And then the rest of the money is going to go back to creating an undercover operation. Because I'll tell you what, when those men find out and they're CEOs, you guys, you think Epstein Island is bad? When you see, if you know actually how corrupt this system is, you will see it's judges, it's cops, it's firefighters, it's the chief of police, you guys. Like the undercover operation of all of this is so deep. You think it's Epstein's Island? You guys don't even understand. It goes so deep. It goes so deep. And the worst part about it is that people are using people to get in the system. So they have this thing of like this facade, this charm of like, look at me, I'm like this spiritual person. And I've been seeing this more lately, and I feel that's why God has called me into this group of people, is that they're like, you know what, look at this. And I'm not saying it's bad. If you guys have healing with this, that's great. But what I'm saying is there are men in this system that are using it to corrupt women and little kids. And we have this Sagittarius and Pluto the generation that is growing up in this, okay? And so what they don't believe in is they don't believe in God. They don't believe in God. They're the gays, the lesbians, and I have nothing against them. I have plenty of friends that are even bisexual, and my cousins are. I have nothing against them. But what I worry about with this age group is they're growing up in a system where they're coming into spirituality because they don't believe in a belief system because it was corrupted when they were younger, okay? So they're growing up in this system where now they have tantric sex that is hurting and harming young girls. Where like, we're gonna heal your sexual wounds, but in reality, it's creating a bond with these men because it's creating the oxytocin levels in these men, in these girls. And so what they're happening is like, oh yes, I'm healed. I gave my body to this man because it was my yoni and I healed him and all of this. And I'm like, girlfriend, then why are you obsessing about him? Do you understand why you're obsessing about him? Do you understand why you can't stop thinking about him? Because you have just created a bond with him. You have created an oxytocin bond with him. And because of that, that is why you can't heal. That you think you healed him and you think he healed you, but he has just created a bond with you. And I'm not saying that all of them are bad. I am just saying, you guys, and this, like, my hands are shaking because it pisses me off so badly to see this happening. And I'm trying to hold them. And last night I went to bed with a migraine. It pisses me off so bad because the spiritual people are using sex as healing, but in reality, it's another mask of sex trafficking. And it's gonna get worse. Because what they're doing is they're masking it. And they're saying, sex, this is a way to heal you. In fact, it's not. It's a way to hurt young children, to bring them into the system that have no clue what they're doing. They have no clue what they're doing. That is creating a trauma bond with another man. It's creating a trauma bond because men don't understand how women get connected to other men. It is a way that God has designed us to get us connected to our young children so that we don't abandon them, okay? And so I want to tell you guys this because it's so... Vanessa says, oh my gosh, this is what's happening to me. Yeah. And I feel like that's why God put me in this place. And you guys, like I said yesterday, if I have to piss some people off by what I say, the healing community, like being a healer, is a lonely process. And it's because people have to stand up and speak the truth, and you may lose a lot of friends. Jesus, when he spoke the truth, you think he had followers? He said to people, eat my blood, and people are like, or drink my blood and follow me. People are like, what the heck, Jesus? And so I'm telling you guys, the spiritual community, they don't know what they're doing, okay? And I'm not saying that the women are bad or the men are bad. It's because they don't understand the chemical balance of people. They don't understand the chemical balance of when you put chemicals, when you use your body to heal something. It is called sacred for a reason, especially with women. It is sacred for a reason. It is not to be used to give up to anyone. Do you know when pimps, when they get girls for the first time and they haven't had sex with a lot of men, especially with anybody, right away they rape them. Right away they have sex with them because they know it's creating a trauma bond. If you guys don't believe me, there's a book that is called How to Pimp. And it literally says in the book, the first thing of a pimp is you have sex with a girl because it creates a trauma bond. The first thing it says. what the heck? Why do you think people are like, yeah, tantric sex, it's gonna heal everybody. Yes, it's this, like, have this community sex. Do you guys know the reason why you keep going back to that is because you've created an oxytocin level within your body that wants to go back to that. You have created a trauma bond. Charles Manson knew this. It creates cults. Cults also become to things like Charles Manson where they can't get out, because they have become so connected with all of the cult that they can't leave. They don't know how to leave because the chemical imbalance is so strong that they stay. They're so traumatically bonded that they can't leave. And so I'm seeing this in the spiritual community. It's going to get stronger and stronger and stronger because no one is saying anything, because no one understands what is happening. I understand because I fought sex trafficking. I understand what happens to these young kids and women and how they get so attached to their pimp. These victims get attached. Yes, exactly. There's sexual demons also. Yes, it's like a drug. Yes, Alba. Sex is like a drug. It is the hardest drug to get off of because the oxytocin levels are so high. And that's why people have such a hard time getting rid of people that they're with, because the oxytocin levels are so high. You can get off a drug, but to let go of somebody else, the reason why God said created for a man and a woman and is so sacred is because of that reason. Okay, it is, and I'm seeing it right now, especially people fighting for sex trafficking that are actually the pimps in the sex trafficking. And it blows my mind. I'm like, look at my hands are shaking. You fight for sex trafficking, but yet you're doing this on the side? Like, are you crazy? And it blows my mind. It blows my mind. And it pisses me the hell off in reality. And I don't know why God made me this way of like fighting sex trafficking, fighting sex, fighting for sex. I don't know. And I really feel like if I knew what happened when I was younger, I'd probably be pretty damn pissed off to know who molested and raped me. But because of my accident, I can't remember what happened. I can't remember, but I do know it affected me badly because of the things I do remember as a child that I used to do with my cousins, okay? The things I used to do with my other people. Uh-oh. Come here. All right, well, I'm going to go and stop talking about this. Yes. Hold on. She hit you? Come here. Come here. All right, come here. Okay. You're okay. You're okay. All right. Do you want to open the book so we can pray us out? Okay. We're going to pray us out since that happened. All right. So this one, look what she opened up to. Oops, sorry, baby. Divine empowerment. How God anointed Jesus and Nazarene with the Holy Spirit and the power, and how he went around doing good and healing all. We don't have to go through life doing everything on our own, trying to accomplish our dreams and overcoming challenges only in our own abilities, strengths, intelligence, and hard work. God has placed his anointing on us. The anointing is a divine empowerment. It enables you to do what you could not do on your own, to accomplish dreams even though you don't even have a talent, to overcome obstacles that looked unsurpassable. You can now own the most expensive car, but if you don't put the gasoline in it, you're not going anywhere. In a similar way, you have been made in the image of God. God has already equipped and empowered you for every situation. We can do all things through Christ. We are strong in the Lord. You're putting fuel in the car. That's when you'll go to places you couldn't go anywhere. All right, so I think all my girls are fighting, which is okay. So I'm going to pray us out. And sorry, you guys, I feel like maybe my energy level is so high that it was just like, it does that. And my girls know I'm very, very passionate about it. Yeah. Yeah, and she's wearing a strawberry shirt. Look at her strawberries for the strawberry full moon. All right, so I'm going to pray us out. Father God, or maybe I won't. I'll just go. If you guys want to get on Patreon, go to that. I will have a prayer that I prayed there this morning, and it's really good and amazing. But I'm going to go take care of this. All right, I love you guys.